Hi there, my name's Steve and welcome to my YouTube channel BadBizz UK. And the reason why I want to speak to you tonight is in relation to British Telecom, or should I say Bad Telecom, or any other choice words that you want to choose in relation to this particular company, which I believe is a complete utter scam of the British public. So much so that I've actually developed a website in relation to it, which is badbizz.co.uk, which if you wish, go and take a look at. You might find some interesting comments and stories on there in relation to BT, and I'm probably pretty familiar with your story that you may have. My story actually starts in March 2010. It is now October 2010. And the reason why I'm making this video is because it is still unresolved as of today. The actual installation, what took place at a brand new property which I'm in at the moment, related to installing a phone line, broadband internet, and the actual broadband phone what comes with the product. The engineer turned up at the agreed particular point in time, but didn't seem to have a clue how to actually install anything. Left me with installing the broadband and everything else. He said that all he was here was to install the line. Installing the line meant that he had to call colleagues of his to actually find out how to do the job, which I found kind of amazing. After this, the phone line wasn't functioning properly for at least 4.5 hours. I contacted BT via my mobile phone, who eventually got it up and running, then to find out that the quality of the line was extremely poor. What do I call poor? Well, let's put it like this. A phone is for the purpose of actually making a phone call, so you actually need to be able to speak to somebody and actually hear them as well. This was a major problem on the line, as the call was very broken, and the same vice versa for the other person. The other person on the other end never has any problem with their phone for their calls, so I could only relate it to it being my phone. Numerous tests that took place on the line via making phone calls to different people, all culminating in the exact same problem with every individual I called. I did work out that because of BT, they supposedly put 2 lines in, which isn't 2 lines, it's 1 line. It just gives you 2 different numbers. One is actually a broadband phone, the other one's a main line. The problem was on the main line. So I actually resorted to using the internet phone, which actually came with the package to make my calls, because at least I could make a reasonably clear call on that particular line. The problem with the original billing, which came in paper format, was the billing was incorrect, and that was actually resolved by the girl at BT, who very nicely actually sent me an email confirming all my packaging, what I got and what I hadn't got, which included inclusive minutes, endless minutes to UK landlines, certain calls to 08 numbers, and also international calls, because I had actually put an international call package on there, because I do make quite a number of international calls, mainly to the United States and Canada from the UK, which ironically is the cheapest method for an international country to make calls, is the United States or Canada, and you can make calls to both landline and mobile phones in the United States or Canada. I don't want to go into that at the moment, the reason why, but I just want to go over the problems with BT, because I'll pretty well assure myself that there's probably thousands and thousands of people out there who've had the same problems. Now, one of the first problems with BT is actually making a call to them. Considering they're a telephone company, they actually give you one telephone number to call, which has then got what's called an IVR system, and most people probably wouldn't understand what that is, but it's actually a system which then takes you to certain parts of the company by clicking appropriate numbers on the system in relation to getting to certain parts. Most of it that I've tested it doesn't function correctly. It actually it takes you to the wrong people. The people don't know what you've actually clicked. They don't know the details that you put in, all the information that it requires. They require all that information again when you actually get through to them. So really, most of the IVR that they have is completely pointless. I'll give you an example of that. Is you can call it up and say, you can press the options to actually say that you want to get rid of your phone service. When you get through to the agent, he doesn't have a clue the reason why you've actually came through to him. It's not the agent's fault, it's BT's fault for the way they've set the system up. In relation to that, since this complaint started, I've made quite a few phone calls, 81 in total, some of them lasting up to 5 hours in length because of being held in queues, being held from one department to the next, and it's very rare that you actually get somebody from BT who will deal with one problem, let alone all the problems related to an account. Now, the problem started with call quality and has exaggerated itself, that's kind of a funny word to use, exaggerated itself into multiple problems with the account. When I talked to the girl, she confirmed in an email that my direct debit would be £50 per month, and I was quite happy to pay that amount of money, which gives BT quite a lot of money per year, in relating to £600 a year for a telephone service. It's quite a lot of money. The first bills came in paper format. Then all of a sudden I didn't get any bills, and the first month went by, £50 went out my account, which was fine. On the second month, £78 went out of my account. I actually called up BT in relation to this, and what was discussed with me was I was making too many calls. Well, you know, my calls are supposed to be inclusive, so I was kind of surprised that I was making too many calls. I thought, well, okay, well, I'll wait for the bill to turn up. I waited another month, still no bill. What actually happened is when I contacted them again, they actually told me that I'd now got an online account and opted out of paper billing. Well, I hadn't opted out of paper billing, they'd opted me out, but I hadn't even bothered to let me know. So the notification of the change of direct debit had been sent to me. It'd been sent to its online account, which I'd never accessed. Nobody at BT has ever disagreed with me that fact, so I would assume that they've checked it and realised that I'm 100% telling the truth. I actually, first time of checking it was actually in June, so from March to June, it was quite some time, and I've been billed a couple of £78 in that point in time. When I did get the bill online with the access there, I was actually quite surprised at the content. I was charged for landline calls to landline. I was charged for mobile calls, which I kind of accepted, but I was also charged for international calls, which was supposed to be inclusive with a package I'd set up. When checking the online account, the international calls in that account was supposed to be inclusive. It said that, it never said any stipulations of I had to press any particular numbers or anything else like that. But even so, I wouldn't have been notified of that fact because I didn't receive any documentation in relation to it other than the online bills. So I now find out that my bills are £200 to £300 a time, rating in the I200s to 300 per bill, which I think is grossly unfair, and I actually believe is a bit of a scam. And the reason why I say it's a bit of a scam is quite simply the package says my calls are inclusive.